What up? It's your boy, the Incredible Man, and yes, Crisis is here. It is here. It is here. And it's so fantastic. Okay, the first night we started with Supergirl, and I'm not upset. It dove right into everything, giving us all of the action that we wanted. Because I'm gonna be real, I love the action sequences that we had this episode. They were really fantastic to me, and getting everyone to kind of coordinate together. So the action was jam packed. Now, I honestly thought that they were going to focus more on trying to really just go ahead and build it, but I guess since they've done pretty much that all of last season, and tidbits here and there, and then with every other show individually, with last week's episode leading up to the crisis. Okay, so we knew the crisis was coming, and that's exactly what they done this episode. Like, there was nothing to really just kind of set it up in motion, and they just threw it at us. Like, right when the episode came on, we got wrapped up, and this was a nice little Easter egg. Will Wheaton was the crazy lunatic, which was throwing up the sign and saying Supergirl couldn't save you and everything. So that was a nice little shout out. Easter egg. So huge shout out to Will Wheaton. So they just threw us into this episode, and I'm okay with that. I didn't really have to be set up, because like I said, they set us up last year, and that's what the whole thing, like, ever since these seasons and everything before they were even announced, that's what it was going to be. Crisis, crisis, crisis. And last week's episode of each individual show, crisis. So they just thrust us into the world of Crisis and everything happening, and I'm okay with that. So then we also find out, which we started with Supergirl, so it was going to be like pretty much all of their characters engulfed in the show, because we're on the Supergirl show. So we see the wave happening. It's just vibrating the whole earth, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And at that time, they find out that a big old wave of energy is just sweeping across the universe. And, well, what is it going to come in contact with? And first, it comes in contact with Argo City. And at this time, in Argo City, we remember from the last crossover event, Lois went to have Jonathan. And that's what I really enjoyed. I enjoyed seeing Jonathan. I know he's just a baby, and it was nice for them to mention that. Like, I got some notes written down, if you can see. It was nice for them to see. It was nice for us to see, and for them to mention and show Jonathan and how his pod veered off course. And I love the way, like, how it connected and showed that Lois and Clark had to do the same thing that Clark's parents had to do with him when their city was destroyed. Just so happens there's only one pod, so it was a nice thing. But it was just nice seeing Jonathan. Especially like if you're a fan of Jonathan Kent in the DC universe and everything. So just seeing him on camera, even though he's an infant, it was just so nice. So then we also see, then we have her Kara feeling some type of way because her mom's on Argo City, and Clark and Lois and Jonathan, and she's upset. Then the wave just smashes Argo City, and Kara's distraught because her family, her cousin, and everything, her mom. And they sent Jonathan off, but the explosions, like I guessed in my mind when I saw it happening, I felt like I feel like the explosion is going to send his pod off course, and it did. It sent it to the future. But before we jump there, because that's something totally different on its own, we get back to the Earth, and we have Lila going around collecting everybody. She's collecting Batwoman. She's collecting Sarah and Ray. She's collecting Oliver and Mia. She's collecting Barry. She's collecting everybody that's needed for the crisis thus far. Because they couldn't show everybody on this episode because it would have been too much of a budget. Because we had Batgirl in her costume. Batwoman. My apologies. We had Batwoman in her costume. We had Oliver and Mia in costume. We had Barry with his CGI speed running. We have Kara and Clark in their super suits, and they're flying, and they're using laser eye beams. What else did we have? We had the anti-monitor popping up. And we had Ray kind of helping out in the scene. We had Sarah. So there was a lot of stuff that they couldn't show, which is why it was nice for them to show it off camera and let stuff like that happen far away. Because we didn't see Nia at all until right there when they started to load people up on the ships. Because at this time, the matter wave is going to just wipe out the whole Earth, well, their Earth anyway, which is Earth 38, if I'm not mistaken. It's Earth 38. So it's going to wipe out their Earth. And so they're loading up all these ships and everything. And while this is happening, also, before that happens, we notice that Brainy gives John a set of keys while John says he's going to go try to convince all of the aliens that came to Earth. They all came on a ship, so we can convince them and ask them to help us load all of these people all over the planet. Then we have Alex going to ask Lena for help, even though they're going through a whole little tiff right now in the actual series of Supergirl. But, Lena's a good person deep down. It's just, but she decides to help anyway because she's a good person. Well, in my opinion, she's a good person. It's just anybody that gets pushed to a certain limit kind of shows off. They're hurt. So when you're hurt, you do stuff that you don't really mean, but you do it anyway because you're hurt. So you want them to feel the same kind of pain and agony that you feel. So Lena helps to create the little transportal thing that she helped with the Daxamites to get all of the people off Earth 38 onto Earth 1. Now, at that time, we also see where Brainy gives John his keys to the Legion ship, which wasn't known until towards the end of the episode. We see him give him the keys, but we was like, well, to what? And I was thinking to myself, it has to be the Legion ship, right? And I was like, well, I don't know. Did they leave it? And at the end of the episode, we saw that it was in Nia. And then we see Nia Nall, we see James' sister, and with Makad Brooks leaving the show, I felt like they weren't just going to let the whole Guardian thing down. And for him to leave the shield for his sister and for them to make that little nod in the Crisis event, it was nice. It was nice. And I'm super excited to see where's that going to go. Because, we knew she was in the army and everything. So but anyway, what else happened? Oh, now we have the Barry and everybody's they're talking and they're thinking about the plans and everything, and a big building pops up, and this building is going to contain the matter wave long enough for them to try to evacuate all of the people on the Earth. Now it does start to do that, and then all of these monsters start to come in, and this whole episode to me, also, it was just so good. It was just so good, and everything that was said to each individual character, when they were having these heartfelt moments. It could have just been meant for the characters on the show, but it was also meant for us and for us viewers for sticking around with the show for so long. It was just a nice goodbye and farewell for us. Now, we also, while all that's going on, we have I gotta refer to my notes. We have, what do we have? I don't know what we have. We have we have Sarah, Brainy, and Lois going to Earth 16 in 2046. If you guys remember that episode of Legends of Tomorrow where we saw the old man Oliver. So we end up going back to that Earth, and that Earth is where Jonathan Kent crashed, and he is in the base of the Arrow Cave in 2046. So we get there, and Oliver doesn't seem to recognize anybody because this Oliver is just so hurt and tormented. And him and Sarah get into a fight. He traps Brainy, and Lois runs off looking for Jonathan. And this whole time, that whole conversation that Sarah was having with old man Oliver, it felt like it was for them, but it also felt like it was for us, the viewers, for sticking around with the show and just holding. It was so good. It was so well written, man. Also, we have Oliver giving Mia a suit, and it was like there should always be a Green Arrow, even after I'm gone. So that was so nice too, as well, because we know that Oliver isn't surviving this, and that is the meat of this episode. They killed Oliver in the first freaking episode of Crisis. Are you kidding me? I mean, I knew that he was going to die. I knew it was set up for him to die. But in the first freaking episode, no, man. Oliver is the staple. None of this would exist if it wasn't for Arrow and Oliver Queen and Stephen Amell. And they kill him in the first episode. I really, really hope that there's a way to at least bring him back and then kill him again. But that would be so heartbreaking to the fans and everything. And I don't think they would do that. And him dying now, it really hits everyone kind of hard because the way he said everything towards Oliver and not Oliver, Barry and Kara. He was like, I've done this for you guys, and it's up to you now. And you guys get what I'm saying? Tell me those words. Yeah, it was meant for the characters in that moment. But it could also mean like for us, and he was like, well, I'm going on ahead, you guys. I'm done, but your shows are still going and live, so it's up to you guys. Tell me, did you not get that from that? Dude, there was so much going on in this episode. Like I'm saying, if you guys saw a bunch of Easter eggs that I may have missed, comment down below and let me know. But like I was saying, there was so much going on, man. Not a lot of like story progression wise. It was just a lot of stuff that was pandering to the fans to really just push this episode about the emotional points. Because Oliver dying, man, he's freaking Oliver Queen. He's Stephen Amell. He's been Arrow for I don't know how many years in it, and they kill him in the first episode of Crisis. Seriously, but it was good. I mean, it felt so much more emotional right now to have that happen in the first episode. So it's gonna push everyone harder in the next couple episodes. And I feel like Ray may die in Crisis. If he doesn't die in Crisis, and he lives, he'll end up leaving on Legends of Tomorrow or dying, because I know that Brandon Routh said that he's done. He doesn't want to do, not so much he doesn't want to do it, but like he's tired. He doesn't want to do it that much anymore. So he's not going to, this is his last season on Legends. I think he's going to finish out Legends, and then he's going to go, then he's going to leave. So they'll probably either kill his character off on Legends or let him kind of like just like retire into maybe the past or the future, whichever his preference, and that's how they're going to end with his character. I'm hoping they don't kill him in Crisis, man. I mean, because then you start to killing off characters that's been around forever, man. Ray and Oliver. Oh, I know Oliver. This was a perfect way to end Oliver because because the show is ending. But they didn't have to do it in the first freaking episode. I'm just saying. But yeah, man, overall it was good. We had the whole fight scene where they were fighting the Terror Demons or whatever you want to call. Well, you can't really call them Terror Demons. I mean, that's Darkseid. Anyway, the demons or whatever. So like the whole fight scenes with that, and we had a couple funny moments like with Kate and Ray. He was like, I can upgrade the suit. You're like, do you want to lose your hand? So it was nice. How attached are you to your hand? So we had some funny moments and stuff as well. Then we had Lila come in as Harbinger and just warp everybody everywhere. And that's pretty much everything that happened. Like I said, this was a complete setup episode. Just to set up the whole thing of Crisis, and it wasn't too much going on. It was everything that happened was just like jam-packed action to just prepare you for the next couple nights, because everything that happened pretty much this episode we already knew. The only thing that really shocked me was them killing Oliver in the first episode, and that was crazy. That was great. Oh, that's crazy, man. But I enjoyed this episode. I think that's all that happened. Oh no, at the end we also see Nash Wells. And this was weird to me. I didn't know. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when I was watching the episode, Nash Wells said that he freed the Anti-Monitor, and this is his penance. So he has to just sit back and watch everything happen. But I remember, like last week watching the Flash's episode, he was trying to talk to the Monitor. And because like he was saying that he doesn't trust the Monitor. The Monitor isn't like as upfront as he should be about everything. So there's so much going on with the whole Nash Wells and the Monitor and Anti-Monitor thing. So I'm really excited to see where that goes as well. But that's everything that happened in the episode, man. Like I said, it was some good moments, and I enjoyed everything. It's just that I'm so surprised and shocked that they killed Oliver in the first episode. But the only thing is, maybe, hopefully, probably, I don't see it lasting. I mean, maybe kind of give him come back and give him like just one last hoorah. But if they kill him off now and make it stick, it sells everything, if you get what I'm saying. And sorry about the monitors. Monitors. And it sells everything, and the characters have so much more to work for because Oliver put all of his trust into them. But that's everything, man. And as you guys can tell, I'm super excited, and I can't wait for tomorrow's episode. And right after I get finished with this, I'm going to watch Kevin Smith break down the show as well, because that came on afterwards. So I'm super excited for that, man. This is your boy Nick Incredible. Don't forget to smash that like button till you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe, but only if you really want to. I mean, Only if you really want to, man. If you like my content, subscribe. Talk to me so we can have some discussions. Because it's fun talking about stuff, right? Especially if we're both enjoying it. Peace out, man.